Hello and welcome to round 2 with Vincent here from Vincent Games of a Living End League in Modern. So this hand seems quite reasonable. 3 lands, Spirit Guide. It's quite land heavy, quite mana heavy. We've got 2 Cyclers and Beast Within, which is quite ubiquitous. So we're not having a way to cascade with this hand. However, we do have some Cyclers, so I think this is a reasonable keep. Probably not going to just like snap Street Wraith off just yet, purely because if we go turn 1 Bloodstained Mire, turn 1 Bloodstained Mire and fetch, then we're reducing the chances of drawing a land. Considering we've got 3 lands right here, we don't really want to be drawing any more than we need to. So I'm happy to wait on drawing a card with Street Wraith to do that. Also, if we play Street Wraith now, then it gives away what we're doing. So just going to go with the Bloodstained Mire and pass. Whereas this could be any number of decks for our opponent. Our opponent could be looking at that thinking, okay, he's playing the mirror, he's playing red. So it might change how they sequence their turn 2. It might not. It might be completely irrelevant, but it's worth noting these little things as you play. If you can hear funny noises or a bell, that's my cat, sorry, wanting to move around. What are you doing? Serum Visions. Apologies, it's just walking across the desk. That's just cats, isn't it? They do what they want. No, not doing that. Pain. Okay, so beginning of combat, so it's going to go to his end step. So essentially we're going to do exactly what I said. Going to go for Overgrown Tomb because we have all the other colours and we want to cycle Carabid on turn 1. Pay 2 life. And then there's no reason now not to just do this. Living End is a terrible draw. Okay, I'm tempted now to cycle Blackcleave CLiffs, because if we cycle now and then draw into a Violent Outburst, that could just win us the game on the spot. So I am going to cycle Horror of the Broken Lands, because with the Syrian Spirit Guides and everything else we're rapidly drawing through now. Okay, no, that hasn't worked out for us. But that's fine, we haven't lost anything from that play. As if we'd hit a Violent Outburst there, then we could have just Violent Outbursted while they're tapped out. However, now we can't do that, because we would need, if we're cycle again, then we draw Violent Outburst, we don't have enough mana to attempt that. I think that's perfectly reasonable to try and go for it there. You don't lose anything. The only downside to this plan is we now have, okay, what I am going to do, I've just suddenly realised what they could be doing now is, they could be casting Tasiga. So I'll be discarding Faerie Macabre and I'm going to target Serum Visions and the other blue spell. I don't want them to just cast a Tasiga, because that is another way in which we just lose, is just to get beaten down by Tasiga. I should have done that in my own step, but I didn't realise until a moment too late. Oh, they're going to Thought Scour and just do it anyway. So I mean, there's not an awful lot we can do about that. Lightning Bolt, Terminate, Thought Scour, okay. Or Gomag Angler, which is like the poor man's Tasiga. But it's a 5/5, so pros and cons, right? So beginning of combat. So they're going to end. So we're going to just do our thing. No. going to play a mountain and again try and see if we can hit a cascade spell off this Carabid. And again with a Street Wraith. We got there, so doing this now because they're tapped out. Essentially, I'm not too sure what they could have to get around this now, because they're not playing. I mean, Damnation, that was obvious. I mean, main deck Damnation, this is not a very good play. But I've done this now. In the hope they don't have that. Oh, they're playing Death Shadow version. Yeah. That was fortunate. I mean, I don't know if I should have been playing around Damnation there. I feel like perhaps I should have done. However, Gerbag Angler makes me feel like, on reflection, that is a big sign that they're not playing necessarily a control deck. I mean, them playing Street Wraith of their own is now kind of confirming that, because it's more likely they're on something like Death Shadow. So Death Shadow sort of Delvery style deck. It might not even be playing Delver. They might just be playing efficient, low-cost creatures and Death Shadow, ways to hurt themselves. So I played a little practice game against this style deck before I did the league, just by chance, and I think I got absolutely wrecked by discard, which we don't really have an awful lot of answers for. They're playing blue, so you've got to bring in the Ricochet Traps. Fulminator Mage could potentially be good, but I'm not sure. I think Street Wraith might actually have to come out, although it does, as we saw there, power out a lot of cyclers, gets through the deck, does exactly what we kind of want to be doing. The life loss might be too much. Might just be too much, I'm not too sure. Shriekmaw feels pretty weak, given their tendency to play black creatures. I don't think Beast Within's that great. I don't even think Brindle Boar's that good. I think Fulminator Mage is secretly quite good here, just because they really rely on a lot of colours. They're quite a greedy mana base, or rather they play quite a greedy selection of cards. So between like Colligan's Command, Counter Squall, Cryptic Command potentially, they need their colours quite specifically. So hitting the dual land could be quite useful. I don't know if that's worth taking out 4 Street Wraiths for that. No. I'm going to leave Street Wraith in, and I'm going to take out 4 Demonic Dread instead. The reason for that being sorcery speed Cascade is going to be weaker than... No, you don't want to take out too many Cascade effects. So I'm going to shave a couple of those and a couple of Street Wraiths just to kind of hedge. You don't want too many Street Wraiths in this match, I don't think. Brindle Boar could be the right thing to bring in, but I don't know. Having not played this deck an awful lot, I'm not too sure how aggressive it can quickly become. So we shall see. This is a lot of land, and even though we have a Ricochet Trap, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm going to mulligan, I think. I think we need... This could be really good. And Faerie Macabre could be quite good as well, keeping them off of delving. I'm going to mulligan. There's too many land. Wow. We're going to keep, because I don't think we can just continue to keep mulliganing into oblivion. But if you'd asked me which hand I preferred out of this or the first one, then... Oh, I wish I kept the first one now. But there we go. And that can go to the bottom. Yes, the one thing I don't enjoy about this deck is just naturally drawing Living End. It's really annoying. Great. That's not what we want to see on their first turn. Yaha. This is not going to be an easier. This is not going to be an easy game. Yep. Just playing little 1/1s. Yes, I would like to pay 2 life. Yeah, this is not going to be an easy game. Fighting through a Gnarl Spellbomb, and our opponent is very good at hurting themselves, so that Death Shadow is going to tear us a new one very quickly. Jeez. Oh, come on. Play another Bloodstained Mire. That's a terrible draw. It's playing 4 colours. Okay. Don't really know what the deck this might be then. Declare block a step. Take it in the face. Maybe they don't have. That's not good. Maybe they don't have very many counter spells at all. Ugh. End step. I'm going to have to fetch for basics here because we can't afford to take much more damage. You're just going to have to take it on the chin that we're going to lose cards to Gnarl Spellbomb. Frustrating thing is, it can just force us to waste Living End before they can just sacrifice their Spellbomb, which is quite annoying. The useful thing though, to play Copperline Gorge, the useful thing is that if we Violent Outburst now, we will be able to Wrath the board, which is actually very tempting considering that we're going to take a lot of damage. So for that reason alone, let's tap the land properly. I think it's definitely worthwhile casting a Violent Outburst here. Because it forces him to use his Spellbomb. There's no reason not to. They also can't play the black, which is nice. So they're not going to draw a card. And we get rid of both of their creatures, which is relevant. And unfortunately, they can just reset by casting another Tasigur. We've just made any second copies of Tasigur in their hand live, potentially. So that's a pain. Inquisition. That's not good. I imagine he'll take the Living End. Seems like the best card. No reason not to, really. don't think you really care about Simian Spirit Guide, given that the rest of his deck is probably bolts and other things that can easily deal with a Spirit Guide. So unfortunately the jig is up. He knows our hand is pretty weak at this point. I'm just gonna throw down a Snapcaster Mage. It's perfectly reasonable, to be fair, because he just wants to deal damage to us before we can start comboing off again. Ugh. Why is this going on? Play a Verdant Catacombs and then fetch just to reduce the amount of lands we draw, and then we'll play this Spirit Guide, which will do one of two things: either trade with a Snapcaster Mage or eat a removal spell, which would otherwise be dead. I feel like we've been baited here because he's played the Snapcaster Mage into playing the Simian Spirit Guide, but the reality is I probably would have just cast Spirit Guide anyway. So you could already cast Tasiga, 6 mana. So there's no real worry about blocking. Oh, there's just can't afford not to block, really. Instead of playing Burn, playing Colligan's Command, that sort of thing. Just need to limit the amount of damage we're taking. My assumption is the hand is probably counter spells, just because of the fact they're not doing anything. Or maybe they've just got other cards that are expensive that they can't actually play. I'm not sure. Oh, didn't think about that. Oh, what a numpty. And there's me forgetting about Demonic Dread, so I should have potentially just taken the hit from the Snapcaster. Oh no, we're going to take this hit from the Snapcaster. So, okay, we'll be able to Demonic Dread next turn. Although, what am I thinking? Like, if we Demonic Dread, we're not going to have anything to get back, so... no, just going to get beaten down by Snapcaster Mages. I need to draw Cyclers. I need to chain Cyclers, basically. That is what needs to happen. Well, that's not good. So now I need to chain Cyclers into a way to cast Living End. This is a good draw. I say this is a good draw. They're probably likely to draw more land. I'm just gonna swing in. I just don't think we can race. It's frustrating, so I have to just trade. I actually think just blocking there is fine. Killing his Snapcaster Mage. So I would not be surprised if they now second main a land, almost baiting me into blowing up one of their own lands. No. Oh, that's he's going to play another big creature. Yeah. So we can take one hit. Maybe. I actually think it hurts to cycle this, because if we can kill the Gurmag Angler or... Okay, so if we Violent Outburst now, we get a Carabid, a Fulminator Mage, and a Simian Spirit Guide back. That feels pretty good, and then we wrath this, and we get around their counter spells as well. Even though we have the Ricochet Trap, I don't really want to risk it. there's no point in just not doing this. Also, and these living ends are pretty weak. Ah, what am I doing? I forgot about their Tasiga. No. I cast it anyway. This is much worse. Much, much worse. What am I doing? Oh, punted that game pretty hard. I completely forgot about their cards left in their grave. That's entirely my own fault. For some reason I thought they'd just delved away everything with the Gomag Angler, even though they're right there on the screen. So I should have just waited. If I waited, no, I shouldn't have done anything. Shouldn't have done anything. That was really, really silly. Oh, I punted that game pretty hard. Yeah, that was terrible. I can't play Magic. So I wasn't winning that game anyway, but I then went and flushed it completely down the toilet. So that was fun. Try not to do that again. So not seeing an awful lot of counter spells. However, I still think they're going to be having a couple. So like the odd counter scored here and there. The Ricochet Trap. And the fact that they tapped out so willingly makes me think they don't necessarily have a lot of them. They weren't representing them very much. So 2 Demonic Dread. I actually think this is good. Because I'm starting to realise that they don't have that many. So that feels fine. Faerie Macabre is going to be awesome. I actually think Fulminator Mage is just not good enough. I'm going to take... I need these for their Grave Hate. And so we'll take out 2 Fulminator Mages. Take out Street Wraith. I don't like taking out Street Wraith really, but they put so much pressure on. I think it's actually now that I'm playing this, I think it's incorrect to take out Street Wraith against this deck. They don't play that much burn, and yeah, with all this cycling, like I immediately feel better when I see a Street Wraith in my opening hand than when I don't. So it is done now, but there we are. We're keeping this hand. This hand is glorious. Going to open with Blackcleave CLiffs, I think. I want to draw a land. Also, life total could be relevant against this. I mean, if I'm taking out Street Wraiths because I'm concerned about my life total, I should also be concerned about how I'm fetching. So I can wait to see if I can fetch for a basic. Ugh. Fine. See, now Spellbomb makes me regret not having Ingot Chillers in the deck, because being able to just deal with that now for 1 mana is decent. Dream a land. Don't draw more. Oh, I wish I'd fetched first. Yeah, I should always. Oh. Always fetch first. Jesus. That is terrible. So normally I would be inclined to cast the fetch first if in the deck to reduce how many lands I draw. I just didn't want to not draw 1, but there we go. Stomping Ground. Oh, why have I done? Oh my god. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I don't know why I did. Oh, I don't deserve to win this round. I'm overthinking everything now. Since that stupid play, I'm just overthinking stuff. So I was sitting there thinking, oh, I'll get a second red source because I've already got the black source, but I need to cycle double black. Fortunately, it's just not going to make a difference, I don't think. But wow. If he plays a creature, I'm not going to cycle. I'm just going to cast Demonic Dread. Good. And remove the Spell Bomb. Yeah, apologies. I'm playing like a complete fool. Sure. Get Blood Crypt. No. And then when we untap, we're going to try and cast a Demonic Dread. Oh, Living End. Going to try and cast Demonic Dread. The reason being, I want him to use his Spell Bomb. So we'll get 2 creatures back, which is fine. And that is fine. He'll lose his Tasigur. And then we can start to refill our graveyard again. The nice thing about this as well is we have the Faerie Macabre for the Tasigur when it goes in the grave. It's going to be able to draw a card off the Spell Bomb, which is annoying, but Stubborn Denial. There's those counter spells I was talking about. Probably just lose now. Sad fact is, even if we wait to cast that, we're not drawing anything. We're not impacting the board in any way. So we don't really gain a lot by not trying that. And given that in the last 2 games, didn't really have an awful lot of action, I wasn't too upset about giving it a go there. By action, I mean counter spells. I'm going to suspend Living End, as if we don't do it now, we're not going to have any time. We're just going to lose to this Tasigur. Return an online card. I'll let you have the Thought Scour. I don't want to use the Faerie Macabre there because I want to be able to exile a Tasigur should the need arise. So it's frustrating he's getting value out of his Tasigur by re-getting Thought Scours and what have you. But I want to be able to remove a Faerie Macabre, remove a thing with Faerie Macabre that's more relevant than that. Might end up just having to discard it to remove Stubborn Denial now, which is a pain, but okay, so what are the options here? Probably have to cast the Spirit Guide. Can literally do one thing. Or 2 things if I use the guide to cast the Faerie Macabre and the Beast Within. Both of those seem pretty weak. Cast a Spirit Guide. My other plan was to cast the Faerie Macabre and chump, and then end of turn, when he attacks in, I've got a chump blocker. Oh, he's not using Tassica's thing. Damn, I thought he was going to use Tassica's thing, then that would have been a much better play. Oh well. Didn't think he had Thought Scour. Great. Well, that's not a problem, then I would have lost anyway, so. Yeah, my other thought was to play the Faerie Macabre and then have the Beast Within ready with Simian Spirit Guide mana to Beast Within my own land once I've blocked with the Faerie Macabre. To then try and hope he plays something to make his Death Shadow bigger. And then swing in with a Beast Within that might have been cheeky enough to kill him, but that ain't going to happen. I thought he would just get a card back, get Stubborn Denial back with Tassica, and then I wouldn't be able to do that because he just Stubborn Denial my Beast Within. But he didn't do that anyway. He just had and he had removal for the Faerie Macabre if I played it that way around anyway, so it was moot. The other thing, oh, that was terrible. Punting that game pretty hard. Yeah, I just wasn't paying attention enough when he cast that Gurmag Angler. Yeah, in the first game, I thought for some bizarre reason, I just thought, oh, he's cast Gurmag Angler, his graveyard's now empty. But he had purposefully left the two creatures there. So when I played that Living End, it was just dreadful. Because I was thinking, oh, I'd Wrath his board, and I'll get 3 creatures, and I can just sit on that. Just completely forgot about the other 2 creatures that were sitting there. Just didn't even think they were there. I thought they'd been exiled. So that was pretty bad. And then the playing after that in the game 2 was pretty dreadful too. Not sequencing lands correctly, efficiently, which was not good. But I'm going to take a deep breath and not tilt so hard for round 3.